Xiaoming, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Now is our club webinar time again, every Tuesday, 5 p.m. China time. And today is a very special webinar because we, China House Club, in cooperation with the Tmall Global Alibaba Group, is going to give you a series of joint webinar about how the brands succeeded in China in different categories. And today is the first webinar about food and beverage category. And the next webinar will be about supplement category. And if you have any questions, please enter your questions in the chat box, and my colleagues will consolidate them, and then we'll have 15 minutes of Q&A section. Okay. And today's webinar, we will introduce 3 case studies. And as you can see on the right-hand side, these 3 brands are from different countries, and they have a different background and histories, and they produce different products of the food and beverage category. But the similarity are they all adopted the Tmall Global flagship store model, and they all achieved very good success within very short of period. And because today we have a lot of new audiences, so for our regular members, please allow me to reintroduce myself and the club again, okay? And my name is Xiaoming Yang. I have 15 years of experience in the Chinese e-commerce market, and I worked for Alibaba Group for a few years as the VP of Tmall Global and AliExpress. And during that time, I helped hundreds of merchants to enter the Chinese e-commerce market. And also, please meet my another speaker, my co-founder, Aina. So he is also a serial entrepreneur, and he has founded different companies in different regions and different industries. And we met as he was a merchant, as foreign merchant, to enter the Chinese e-commerce market, and that's why we incubated this China House Club idea in last year. So please, Anna, would you like to say something to everyone?
Yeah, thank you, Xiaoming, and welcome all users, all merchants in our webinar. I just want to tell a short story. I faced it as a foreigner in China, a lot of problems in e-commerce industry. And the reason why I faced this problem, because I don't know a lot of concepts and details. And I realized all merchants in China faced the same problems. And when we explored this topic with Xiaoming together, we understood like it's a brilliant opportunity to share with all foreign merchants who do e-commerce business and retail business in China, the how-tos, some practical tools and services, and finally unite them and be one supportive community of each other. Thank you, Xiaoming.
Thank you, Aina. And a very short introduction about the club. So we are China House Club. Is an online community for the foreign merchants who want to sell your products in China. And by doing so, we provide different services and contents, such as we have a teaching program to step-by-step teach you what is China e-commerce and how to do it. And we also have a club webinar every Tuesday, 5 p.m., just like today, to update you the latest progress or the case studies. And we also have a monthly report about different categories, about the sales data, top brands, top products, market trends, etc., so that you can make your decision more effectively and clearly. And also we can help you to find the right partners, local partners in China, so that you can execute your business more effectively and transparently, okay? And most important part, let's meet the Tmall Global team. Please welcome Angela Lin from Tmall Global Europe. Please, Angela.
Hello, guys. Maybe we can jump to the next slide.
I'm Angela Ling from Tmall Global Alibaba. So just to share with you a little bit my cultural background, which is one of the reasons why I joined Alibaba in 2018. So I was born in Spain actually and raised in Portugal. So I'm Portuguese, but with a Chinese origin. So due to my cultural background, I always felt very connected, not only with Europe, but also with China. So that is also why I really enjoy to help not only Spanish, but also Portuguese brands to connect with millions of Chinese consumers through Tmall and through Alibaba. So I will introduce very, very briefly what is Tmall Global, because I want to leave the majority of time to Xiaoming to explain the brand cases, which I think is the most important part today, and they are very useful insights for you guys. So yes, yeah, we can jump to the next slide. So actually Tmall Global is today the largest B2C cross-border e-commerce platform in China. In 6 years of existence, we have already 25,000 brands in our platform, which more than 80% of them have entered China for the first time through Tmall Global. We have products from more than 5,000 product categories, 92 countries and regions, and we come with more than 700 millions of Chinese active customers in our platform. So who are these customers? I think that is a very important question for you guys to understand. Who are the customers that might be buying our product, right? So next slide, you can see how it was China and how was the Chinese customers in 1990. So actually not too long ago, for me feels like yesterday. And this is how China is today. So you can see a very big change. The growing rate is very fast in China. So it also defines how Chinese customers are today. So they are not only young, international, they are constantly looking for new products, new things, new experiences, new brands. So this is the customers that you are going to be connecting today. And they are also very demanding. They want more because they are already used to this rhythm, right? So actually today, retail, it's more than just retail, it's an entertainment for them. So you can see in this slide, we have here 4 pictures. So you can have a closer idea of how the retail is working now, how the shopping experience is today in China. So in the first picture, you can see sharing and recommendations. So in our app, in our platform, there's this sharing and recommendation part, which influencers or KOLs that we call key opinion leaders, they share and they recommend products that they like. Can be through pictures, can be through text, can be through videos, can be through live streamings. And this is something that works very well because Chinese customers, they really follow their key opinion leaders. They want to see what they use, what they like, and why they like it. Then exploring, so in our platform, you can also search for any product you would like or brand that you want to know. It can be from fashion, can be cosmetic, can be food. So really you can explore not only Chinese brands, but also international brands. And then in the third picture, you can see this is a product page. So it's very common in Europe that we use pictures in our product page, right, to show what it is. In China now, it's very common to use videos as well. Actually, one video can engage the customer much better than only a picture. And last but not least, live streaming. This is something that is working super well. Let's go, yes. That is working super well in China. So this is, we can see it already in Europe, for example, in Instagram, but it's not quite the same, because actually the live streaming that we see in China, they are doing live streaming but selling at the same time. So actually, you can see a person, influencer, using the product or eating a product. People comment, can ask questions, they reply. So it's actually very engaging. They can answer all the questions. They can inform why the product is better compared with other competitor products. And most importantly, there's a link that you can click directly and the customer can buy the product directly. And usually during the live streaming, there are some special promotions. So for the customer, it's very spontaneous, okay? So last page, also the last one. How can you connect your products to these Chinese consumers? So there's two different models. One is cross-border and one is general trade. So cross-border is a model that we use in Tmall Global. For the international brands that are not yet in China, it's much more easy, because you don't need a Chinese entity or a Chinese bank account, or have the product registered in China, or have the product imported already in China. You can use your overseas entity, overseas bank account, and sell directly to the Chinese consumers. And general trade, which is, let's say, the more traditional way, which you import the product and the process can take longer. It can be, let's say, the second step, when you have already introduced your brand, you have known your customer better already, and then as a second step, you can enter China in a more complete way, let's say. So this is my sharing, my presentation regarding Tmall Global. So let's pass to the brand cases, which are already brands that have passed all these steps. And you can see better how they are doing today in Tmall Global. So please, Xiaoming.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Angela. It's very helpful. And also today, not just Angela from Tmall Global is here, but also lots of her colleagues are here. Yeah. And so it's a very good chance for you to meet the whole Tmall Global. And so let's talk about the showcases. The first case study I want to share is Boombah. Boombah is a brand founded in Russia in 2017. Well, it's they produce two types of products: meal replacement and healthy snacks. And because of the COVID-19, now the number one thing people want to do in China is to lose weight and to prevent the disease like diabetes. So therefore, this category is super hot in China. And also the Chinese people, they have different tastes to the Western countries, and they don't enjoy sweet things that much. So yeah, this that's why their products also suit the taste of Chinese. And if you look at their sales performance, we can see that despite there's a out of stock issue in April last month, their sales grow very fast. They launched the business in last November, and in the coming June, their sales target is 1 million RMB in 1 month, because in this month there's a 6/18, which means June the 18th, which is the second biggest shopping festival in China, just after 11/11, which is the Singles' Day. We will come to the Singles' Day later. So, and you may ask why they increased so fast. Well, one of the reasons is they adopted the KOL e-commerce. As Angela just explained, in China, people use now, the consumers, they love to use, they follow the KOLs. For example, if for their products, they use the KOLs who is specialized in the lose weight and the gym. So that's why his or her followers will listen to him or her and buy the products that he or she recommended. And also all these activities, these marketing activities are CPS based, which means cost per sales. So you won't waste your money, your marketing dollars on those kind of say celebrities, this is kind of marketing activities without return certainties. And also now, because they have great success about online, now they are actively developing the offline market. And if this is a very good strategy, because if they don't start from online, they start from offline, most likely when you talk to people, because you are a new brand, you just founded in 2017 and nobody knows you in China. So if you talk to the offline channel, most likely they won't talk to you. Even they talk to you, the terms could be very harsh, the price or payment terms, right? But now they can show to the offline channels, okay, I'm a very good brand. You see my Tmall Global store, I have a lot of buyers, and please work with me. So this is what they are doing right now. And from this case, what can we learn? We have some suggestions from the brand, and also some suggestions from the club, from ourselves. And from the brand, they would like to share that 3 things. Number 1, find a good TP. What is a TP? That means Tmall partner, which is the company that's local partner that you can outsource all your e-commerce operation to them, okay? So that you can focus on your supply chain and product. And and that's why you can imagine that the synergy is very important. You trust them and they trust you. And the second important thing is to invest your money, including your budget, your efforts, and your patience in the right place. Okay, and the third thing is to avoid the stock shortage, as we mentioned in the previous slide. As you might know, the online sales, the concentration rate is very high, which means the winner takes all. So it will be very frustrating and disappointing that if you use all your efforts and successfully pushed one bestseller, and just after 1 week out of stock, then you have to start from scratch again. So to try to avoid this, okay? And from our perspective, from this case, I also have 3 recommendations for you. Number 1 is every brand, you can be successful in this market. If you go to your local shopping mall, supermarket, you can see many Chinese tourists. I mean, in the past, not now, of course. But these kind of people, they will not stop shopping. They cannot travel now, but they are still hungry for foreign products, right? So yeah, to sell them the products online is a good choice for you. And healthy food and meal replacement is super hot now in China. And if you are producing maybe traditional food and beverage, but you can also think maybe you can provide a sugar-free or less sugar version. And the last, first online, then offline, as we explained, not the other way around. And finally, let's have a look at the broader picture about this category. We have searched on Tmall Global and our club. Okay, this is the data from our club, and we found some bestsellers. Say this mixed nut from the United States is being sold more than 8,000 pieces just in April last month, and just one item, one SKU, they can sell more than 1 million RMB in a month. And for this one, even they sold 15,000 pieces for this breast strips. And also these are the keywords that people search online. So if you trace these keywords, you can see the trend of the consumers. Okay. Anna, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I just listen to you and always surprised. Like a few years ago when I just start e-commerce business in China, I was like, wow, it's so complicated. Now I feel Amazon is so poor from data perspective. In Alibaba, you can find any data, and you can make your decision based on data, and that's I think brilliant for especially for new generation of entrepreneurs, because they love make decision based on data. And this is just a good example of how quickly we can find this snack category report and bestsellers, and define, okay, if this bestseller is already in the market, I also can join this wave. Yeah, just Xiaomin put these comments. You can go ahead to the next case.
Thanks, China. And the second case is Whittard from the UK. As we can see, this brand, they have a 134 years old history. Okay, it's so this is a very good case that an old brand can also be very successful on the online market of China. And they are now actively developing the international market, but only in China, they use online. And they produce English tea and hot chocolate and gift sets. I believe that if you ever travel to the UK or you're from the UK, you must have heard of this brand. But in China, they are not popular, okay, because they entered China very late. And before they came to China, there are already some brands, very famous brands from the UK as well. I mean, the tea brands. And I'm not going to mention the names, but I think you can guess what they are. And then how can they compete? Well, they use a different approach. They are selling, I would like to call that affordable delicacy. So if you look at, for example, if you look at their can, the design and the picture, everything is very delicate, right? It's for example, imagine during the Chinese New Year, when if you visit a good friend of you, your good friend, and if you offer him a tea which he can easily find in his local supermarket, that's not surprising enough, right? But yeah, this is a good product for gift. So that's why their peak season is in the end of the year, from November to February. Okay, because season reasons, the Thanksgiving and Christmas Day, Chinese New Year, blah blah blah, and also they have hundreds of flavors. The Chinese people, they like this kind of variety of the flavors. And their performance, they launched their store in July of 2017, which is about 3 years ago. But you may say, okay, that's quite long ago, right? But they achieved 1 million sales just after 3 months, okay, in the November of 2017. And how they achieved this? Because they seized the opportunity of 11/11. What is 11/11? That is November the 11th, which is the biggest shopping festival around the world, not just in China. In last year, the 2019, on that day, one single day, Alibaba, Tmall, just one platform in China, achieved $38.4 billion sales, just one day, and which is 5 times bigger than Black Friday globally. Yeah, how they did marketing, this is also very valuable for you, because for every new brand and every new store, Tmall Global will provide you some support. Okay, this usually it is free of charge for you to say higher search ranking or some promotion opportunities that only new brands can participate. So if you have these kind of opportunities, please seize this opportunity. Okay, and another thing they did very well is they defined very clear strategy. Many foreign brands, when they came to China, they mark up their price a lot. Why? Because they don't know the Chinese market, and that they have to pay a lot of learning curve, or say tuition fee, to the mistakes they are going to make, and then they offset this kind of price, this kind of cost, learning cost, tuition fee to the price, so to let Chinese consumers pay. but the Chinese consumers, they hate this because now everything is very transparent. They can easily find out the same product, what's the price in other countries, why I should pay more in China, why? So Whittard, they define the same price, okay, the very fair price in China, and they can. This is they have a very good pricing strategy. And another thing I can share with you is about their localization. If we look at the can here, you see the cans 50 gram, 40 gram, very small, right? And in the UK, usually they produce, the minimum size is 100 gram, but they have 300, 400 grams, okay, the can. Why they did this? This action was recommended by their TP because in China, the consumers are heavily influenced by Japan. And in Japan markets, people like this kind of small and delicate products. So that's why the TP told them, okay, you should produce the small can. And when these products launched, immediately sold out. And now some of their competitors, the big brands, are also copying this model. So this is a very good move. And what can we learn from them? From Whittard, they gave us 3 suggestions. Number 1 is this market is a changing market. So you should adapt, keep the pace of the Chinese, okay? Don't just easily copy your business model from your home country and try to apply that in China. It's not gonna work. And also no pain, no gain. So you have to be patient at least for 1 year. No 3 months, no 6 months, but at least 1 year and see the results. And you have a clear price strategy as we described in the last slide. Don't mark up too much. And from the club, from our perspective, our suggestions are: number 1, the consumption upgrade in China continues even after the COVID-19. According to the latest research, most of the people, they will not reduce their spends even after the COVID-19. And you should develop your products for China, optimize your products or develop your products for the Chinese market. Just like we shared the story of the 50 gram small cans. And the most important thing is you should try to seize this year's 11/11. Okay, according to the Alibaba's rule, every new store, if within 3 months, the new store within 3 months, you cannot participate in the big campaigns like 11/11 because your first priority, if your new store, is to consolidate your supply chain, optimize your service, customer service, and smooth your operation, these kind of things, right? So to put it another way, if you want to catch this year's 11/11, you should act now. Otherwise, you have to wait another year. And yes, here we have some data about coffee and drinks. I'm not going to introduce this again in details because you can read it by yourself, but I want to say that so one thing that all this data I shared is just the tip of iceberg, okay? For all the audiences today, we will share with you a comprehensive data report, okay? And for a category later, so that's and also for why we can do this, because on Tmall, as you can see, every data is very transparent. See here, you can see the price, you can see the price of this SKU and how the sales, monthly sales, and how many comments and which sales channel, blah, 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 okay? These are very transparent, which means you don't have to spend lots of money and effort to work with some kind of famous consultancy or to buy this kind of a data report. No need, okay? These are all open data. Everybody can access, but of course, maybe you don't know Chinese that well, or you don't know this how to use this tool that well. So that's why we can help you to provide this kind of consolidated data report, okay, if you need it. So yeah.
Xiaomi, thank you. I just want to remind, no matter you are super big brand in your home country or very new brand, very fresh brand as Boombah, you always start from the zero in China. Some of the brands, of course, if they're super famous, yes, you have a legacy and you have some first boost, but it's pros and cons from this perspective. But what I like, if you follow for right strategy in China, no matter you are super big or you are a very small company, you can be successful. And we have a lot of cases, and Xiaomi itself bring, for example, Costco to the Chinese consumers a few years ago. And before, Costco tried to follow the traditional way how they do business. Offline stores immediately invest a lot of money to the marketing. Then after tens of millions of losses, they realized, okay, maybe it's something different. Then Xiaomi met them and helped them to launch the Tmall Global store. Then they opened Tmall Classic store. And finally, in 2019 of June or August, in Shanghai, they launched the first offline store. And it was a super success because it's after 3 hours of opening, the all products is gone. So it's always process in China. If you know this process and you follow this process, everything will be much, much easier and you will avoid 99% of all mistakes. That's all what I want to add here, Xiaomin.
Thank you, Kostya. And now is our last showcase, which is Camelicious. Yeah, as you can imagine, this is a very special product, very niche market feature product. The camel milk powder. Okay, maybe you haven't heard of such products, right? It is founded in 2003 in the UAE, and they just sell their products through the traditional supermarket and offline stores in Dubai. And but there are a lot of there used to be a lot of tourists to Dubai, including Chinese, and this is a very good product for them as to take it back to home as a gift, as a souvenir. So that's why even before they launched the product, they launched their Tmall Global store. There were already some Chinese people. There were already some Chinese people knew their product. Okay, and yeah. Another thing I want to highlight here is why the Chinese people love foreign products so much. Maybe you have heard of this story, the Miniman scandal in 2008. During that time, there are some notorious Chinese merchants who put Miniman as a certain kind of chemical element into the baby formula powder. And this activity killed many infants. And after this, most of the Chinese moms, they don't trust local formula brand anymore. And they started to seek the foreign product. And this was the very beginning. And after baby formula, then all the baby products, and then all the products. So now this, a lot of Chinese people, yes, they want this. Even say, like say, the camel milk powder. Actually, in China, in the Xinjiang provinces, they also can produce this camel milk powder, but people like to buy from UAE. And this is their sales performance. They launched their store 6 months ago in November of 2019, and their sales target is 2 million in the coming June, and their sales target of 2020 is 30 million. And another thing very special for them is they have only one SKU, one product, just sell milk powder. Okay, they want to focus on this, and after that they will expand their category into say liquid milk or skincare also, of course, also made by camel milk. And how they did marketing also very special. They made a documentary with the CCTV, which is a government TV station, which China centralized TV station, television. Okay, and you may ask why the CCTV want to help them. Okay, there are two reasons. Number one, they have the connection with their TP. Okay, the TP help them. And number two, which is more important, is that the Chinese government want to encourage the imports to balance the trade. Okay, in last weekend, the government, Chinese government published the annual report and repeated that they will further boost the consumption and cross-border e-commerce. So as government owns TV station, yes, they have to support government. So that's why they did it. Okay, and also they worked with some KOLs and invited them to join the camel racing in Dubai. So this is a very good moment for the live streaming, as Angela just mentioned. And also, what can we learn from them? From Camelicious, number one, use effective marketing channels. Don't waste your money on the celebrities or similar stuff. Just use, say they use the documentary, right? It's a free of charge. It is not commercial, okay? And it is, of course, it is a very good storytelling documentary, right? And also focus on the bestseller first, okay? And from the club perspective, we have three suggestions. Number one, how to find the good opportunity, the potential products. Check what Chinese tourists usually buy or say usually bought from your supermarket. Of course, they are gone now, but I'm sure that you can find it easily. And second, a group of loyal customer is more important. You don't have to have all the Chinese to buy your product. You just need a group of people, but they love your product. They keep buying from you. That's good enough. Okay. Even such a niche product, considering milk powder, camel milk powder, very niche, right? But considering the huge pool of China of online e-commerce, it is still good enough, right? And the last, which is most important, that you should understand the market, then find the right strategy. So that's why we have this club to share the information and knowledge with you, so that otherwise, if you don't know the market, then what you can do, just randomly select a strategy and invest your money and then pray. Yeah. So but for Camelicious, they use a very different strategy because they have a very different story, right? So yeah, understand the market and then choose your strategy. So that's all for the cases. And yeah, Anna, would you like to introduce the Q&A section?
Yes, first of all, I want to finish with one small sentence, because I usually every day I talk with the merchants here in the club, and especially merchants who just want to launch their e-commerce or retail sales. Usually, sometimes I face this thinking, okay, in China is 1,400,000,000 users. So if just one guy or woman will buy product from me, I will be already super successful. So it's not, of course, gonna work like this. In China, it's a fragmented market, but what I like, Alibaba consolidate 60% of whole e-commerce in China. And now cross-border sales, it's also biggest market share, as Angela mentioned. So, and it's still growing, cross-border e-commerce. And I want to open our Q&A session. We have two streams where users ask us questions, one of them in Zoom, another in YouTube. So I will start from question what many merchants already ask. It's about marketing budget. Okay, we know the cases, we know the sales, but plus minus, how much we should invest to the marketing to achieve this kind of figures. So Xiaomin, Angela, please give your thoughts here and your experience here.
Xiaomin, do you want to start or should I start?
Well, I can start first, yeah, and then yeah, you can okay. So I think according to my experience, this is a very good question. Okay, and according to my experience, well, basically we can divide the investment into two parts: inside, which is in Alibaba ecosystem, and offsite, which is on other platforms like say TikTok or Little Red Book or WeChat. And for the inside part, that depends on your the maturity of your brand, the awareness, your brand awareness. If it's a high, everybody know your brand, then it could be very low, 5% or even lower. But if it's a new brand to China, then it would cost you maybe 10%, or if you are more aggressive, you can put it 15 or even higher. And of course, that depends on how aggressive you are, right? How much does the sales targets, okay? And about the offsite, that depends on your this is more like a branding and marketing part, and it's also connected to offline sales, everything. So this is really depends on how much you want to invest, and it's not that directly connected with your sales target.
Angela, please.
Yes, I would like to add, first of all, I agree with what Xiaomin was saying. So actually, marketing is kind of vague, right? So what is marketing? When a new brand is entering a new market, the main goal is to make this brand or this product connected to the consumer. So what we have to do is to communicate our brand and our product to the consumer. And the communication is part of the marketing. So apart from the communication, we also have to do branding, right? And apart from the branding, we have to use tools in let's say in a marketing digital way or e-commerce way to bring traffic to your store. Because the goal here is to sell, right? For any brand, any company that wants to enter China, the goal is to sell. But before selling, we have to connect, we have to create branding. So as Xiaomin was saying, from one side, there's branding. So if your brand is already somehow known, has brand awareness in China or not. And from the other side is the tools you use to bring the traffic with the branding that you did before or right now and you are doing now. How can you bring the traffic to your store? How you optimize the conversion rate and how you make the customer to buy your product again. So depends on how, so what Xiaomin was saying, inside and outside. Is my experience for you to have a reference. In average, new brands that are entering Chinese market are investing around 30% of the sales targets. Okay, so it's true that hearing 30% of the sales target is pretty high compared with what brands are used to invest in Europe. But as we saw, the market in China is completely different. And apart from that, the first step that we are using to enter China is only online. So it's not that the same as Europe, that maybe you have your products in a supermarket or in a mall where customers can see the brand. And by being the supermarket, it's already creating branding for your brand. And being the supermarket also has costs. It's just that you are not considering that cost as marketing investment. So in this sense, for the Chinese market, I would say that you should invest at least 30% of your sales target. Obviously, here it depends on the branding you have already in China and also the type of product you have. But more or less, as a reference, that should be the number to take into account.
Thank you, Angela. And I just want to remind for all our participants, difference between the revenue in Europe and in China. When you do business in Europe, so there are no growth, and most of the market is stable, or some of the markets already start to down because of COVID crisis. So that's why it's there are no make sense to invest a lot in the marketing. You just eat your profits. But in China, it's very different. When brands just start, first year, even you invest 30% of your sales target back to the marketing, it's not mean you have only 70%. You just build the fundamentals for your next growth. And your next growth can be 10 or 20 times more than the first year. That's the difference. And the second year, third year marketing budget usually decrease for 10 to 50% for mature brands who already achieve the community targets, and they build around themselves some loyal customers. So, and I just want to give you a different angle, maybe because I'm from venture capital world. We always know it's a different revenue. If you are from small country revenue, or if you are just in the beginning on the super big market, it's a revenue different price. And again, remind you the biggest numbers. China only have 55% of all e-commerce in the world, and it's 4 times bigger than whole US e-commerce market. And US market never will achieve this amount of target. And the growth rate of Chinese e-commerce, it's a double digit every year. And Alibaba itself control more than 60% of the whole e-commerce. So only start with the Tmall Global, you cover whole market already. And it's you start to build your fundamentals to build the big success in China. So that's why I want to highlight this. What is the difference between the revenue in Europe and revenue in China? So yeah,
Angela, sorry, may I ask?
Please. Oh, sorry, I just want to add one thing is that to answer this question, actually, we have content. I mean, our club is called the Marketing Pack. So in there, I will personally introduce what is marketing, online marketing in China, and how to do it, and how much money you're going to spend, this kind of thing. Okay, yeah, please.
Yeah, and all questions will be from me. Please put question in the chat box if you want to ask something. Okay, so we have another question from our YouTube, and I want to choose this question. So again, they want to ask more question about the budget, especially first 3 months, because all our cases or what we shared today, they was quite aggressive on the first 3 months. And how to prepare? Let me a little bit change the question. How to prepare this kind of launches? So they should be very successful, but how to prepare this kind of launch? Please, Xiaomin, start, and then Angela.
Okay, thank you for the question. This is also a very good one. Well, to launch the business in China is it's not as complicated as you imagine. Okay, so we also have a class about how to launch the business. So we can divide the process into 4 steps. Number 1 is to understand the market. Okay, so you should do some research, and you know the market, you'll find your strategy, and you make your P&L, how to do it, right? This is the first step. And the second step is to find a TP, okay, which is your local partner who's going to run this store for you, because there are many TPs, right? So you have to find the right one, which is you can trust them, and they're also they also not. I mean, the price is also within a reasonable range that you can afford. Okay, and you can create a long-term partnership. And the first step is to talk and engage with Alibaba Group, which Yes, we have them here already here. The Tmall Global team, and they will help. They will help you to find all this how to do the business and give you the support. Okay, okay. And the fourth step is to prepare the business, including set up your store, to design, or we call it decoration. Okay, store decorate. It's like a physical store. Okay, you need to decorate the store and translate your product description, take some pictures, and prepare your inventory, and train your customer service, and blah blah blah. Okay, and then you can launch your business.
Yeah, thank you, Xiaomin.
Sorry, usually it will take about 3 months if you are fast enough.
Please, Angela, give your comments.
So I think to start in China or Tmall Global, let's say China, okay. I think the first very important question is to know what is our goal in China. Is it like fast sales? I know China is very big and there's a lot of Chinese people and I just want to sell, or you really want to have a plan in creating a brand awareness in China, in expanding in the long term your brand, which obviously after the main goal is to sell, but the let's say the purpose of entering China can be very different, right? If you want to do in long term, or it's like short term quick money. So if your goal is to do quick money because China is very big and there's a lot of opportunities, then I think is not yet the timing. Is not a good motivation for you to enter China, because as you can see, there are many brands that are already in China, but it means that there's also teamwork, there's resources, not only financially, but also time dedicated to this project to enter China. So I think that is something very important that you think together with your company, with the team. Okay, what is my goal? So if your goal is to enter China, to bring your brand, to build your brand in China and to communicate it to the customers, then I think we can start thinking, okay, the second question. So the second question should be, what is my product? Who is the Chinese customer? And what extra I can bring to the customers? So is my product different from what is in China already? If in China has something already kind of similar, what is my unique selling point? Is it because it's a quality price more advantage? There's more advantage, or because it's healthier, or because it's more innovative, or because the packaging is easier for the customer to bring in the bag or to consume? So is there anything extra that your product can bring to the customer? Because as you can see, to enter China, you have to invest in marketing, right? As was your first question. And it's not a small amount. So if your product has something different, it makes this communication of your brand to the customer much easier. So you can really optimize the marketing investment you are going to invest. So I think before all the question on how can I do it, which partner should I have, is to really think, what do you want and what can we bring to the Chinese customer? Because at the end, the customer is the number one, right? They decide. If they don't buy, then we can be all working here together with the Tmall team, with your team, and it's not going to work. So once we have all those questions clear, then obviously you have Tmall Global team. So we have BDs all over the world. In Europe, we have more than 20 people in different countries, focusing different categories that we can help you from 0 to 1, from finding a TP, from helping to give some feedbacks regarding your product, regarding your business plan, till the whole process of opening your store. And after that, we also have our category team in Hangzhou, who is going to manage, let's say, together with the TP and you, your store regarding the GMV, the sales, campaigns, promotions, etc. So one of the first steps, once we have all the questions clear, is to find the right partner. So the right partner is basically like an agency that is in China, is a third party. They don't belong to Alibaba Group, but they are the TPs, as we call. They are certified by the Tmall Global team. So they have the experience to help international brands like you to enter China, not only to study the market, to do a business plan, to define which products should we select to sell to the Chinese customers, the pricing strategy, what is the sales target, how much we should invest, and how are we going to invest in marketing, which is a very important question. So they are going to be, let's say, your Chinese team in China, okay? After that, obviously, regarding the operational part of opening Tmall Global Store, maybe we can leave it for next meetings. Is not complicated, is everything is structured, so it's just like going step by step and we can just open it.
Yeah, Angela, thank you. And I just want to highlight before we go to another question, we have some surprise for all attendees to this webinar. We will have a special link, and using this link, you can choose a time for call with the China How team. And what we will do, we will help you to apply Tmall Global application form. And after that, you will get a direct connection with a specific country team and category team inside the Tmall Global. Then also we will share all featured data from today's webinar. It will be a beautiful designed PDF file. And also during this call, we will help you to choose your strategy. Is it TOF, TDI, or Tmall Global flagship store, and this kind of question, what kind of first step can be. So using this link, China How Club TMG apply, you can apply this form, and we will call you and we will choose a time for discussion. And let me back to the questions. So Angela, you highlight very important thing from my perspective. It's about a team and focus from company. Yesterday I have a call with a company. They're quite big. They have a 25 million euro sales in Poland. And you know what? During the call, I was like in the situation when sales director, he shared with me, oh, our founder, he don't care too much about Chinese market. But I think it's very promising, but our founder, he's not thinking is good for us. And then I told him, you know what, if you think like China is not important, or it's not necessary to invest the team efforts or attention to understand this market, it's not gonna work. And I always share in the club, and we always discuss with our club members. They all merchants who daily work on sales in China. And we always know it's not competition between merchants in China. Most big competition is inside your team. How execution part is done today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, etc. How strong relation with your TP and your home market team. So this is the most important thing. Chinese market give opportunity for many companies, many categories. Even you have one SKU, or you have a very interesting story, a very unique feature, you will find your clients. The main thing is you should, inside yourself, inside the company, you should make this decision. Okay, we should learn, we should start to understand, we should explore this market. And that's why this today is a brilliant webinar, because we have this opportunity. Finally, we get the direct connection between all merchants and between Tmall Global and between China How Club. That's a unique from today's webinar. So again, we have another question from our YouTube. Let me explore it. It's about SKU. Still, even we have this case from Whittard, from Camelicious. they launch from one SKU. Our merchants, it's not the first question, it's already third question about how many SKUs roughly is good to start. Because I guess some brands have a lot of SKUs, and some of our club members, they already have the 300 SKUs. So they also have this question in their mind. So Xiaomin, Angela, please highlight this question.
Should I start?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so regarding the SKUs, it's not that there's a rule or anything, but we might have some references. So for brand flagship stores, so if this store is about one brand only, we would recommend to have at least between 8 to 10 SKUs to start with. Why? Because it's good for the consumer from one side, so they have more options. Once they, from some channel, they enter your store, they can be interested in this SKU, but then after entering the store, they can say, oh, actually they have other products which I can buy. And if I buy this SKU, I might like also the other SKUs. So this is one point, to have more options. The other point is, if you have only one or even two SKUs, it can be challenging if your product is not super different from the products you have in your market. Because if it's something that is not so different and unique that you have to buy in this store, they might enter, buy it and go. So the investment, let's say, that you use to bring this traffic to your store, they are going only to buy this product. While if you had more products, they could enter. So in the same investment you use to bring the traffic to your store, they can buy one or even two or even three products. So for you, the return of investment is much optimized. So I think in this sense, at least 8 to 10 is a good number. Obviously, if your store is, let's say, a specialty store or kind of like a supermarket store, then you can have more products and more brands, because at the end is not one brand, but one, let's say, supermarket. So in that sense, we would recommend to have many different SKUs in this category. So let's say it's a food supermarket, so to have different types of food. So because in the supermarket, the consumer is expected to see a lot of variety. Xiaomin, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, thank you, Angela. Yes, I totally agree with Angela. Actually, I guess I'm more aggressive. According to my opinion, at least as a flagship store, you should have 30 products. Well, I mean, otherwise it's not a store, right? So you walk in the store and just what product? That looks strange, and of course not cost effective, as Angela just mentioned. But this brand is why they chose this strategy, because it's also recommended by their TP, and yes, it's a successful one. And so there's no formula indicating that, yeah, you should do this, then guarantee you will be successful, okay? And also it's I'm also very surprised to see them, because this is also the first case that's
very rare. Yes.
Yeah, this is the first case that they can see. I saw they can achieve this. I'm also surprised.
Because it's very unique. It's like it's very unique, and yeah.
Yeah, because the product is very unique, right? The country is unique. Yeah, and also let me share with you another secret. This store, the Tmall Global store, is a saver of their company, because after COVID-19, no tourists anymore.
Yes.
So I already checked. We have 15 applications to have a call, and which is good. And Zoom link, we put link to the Zoom, and we put link to the YouTube. So if you already register, you will see the form is ready. You just need to type a send. If you came from the YouTube randomly, or some friends just send you, please register. And I want to back to another question. It's more broad. It's about TP. A lot of you participants, they already ask many questions about TP. And but before I give you the microphone, please let me answer to this question, because I every day, at least 2-3 times per day, I communicate with the clients about the process of choosing TP, because we have in the club these services. Because find TP, it's one of the first and most important step after you make decision. Okay, we should go to China, and we should start our e-commerce business in China. And but how to find TP and what is it TP? It's a lot of questions. Do they manage the marketing only, or also delivery, also service, etc., etc., etc.? So I want to give you a very short answer with some metaphor. In 19th, all companies they start to build their websites. You remember this time? Very lovely time. I should be there and buy bitcoins. So what they in 2000s, yeah. So what we do, we start to ask third parties, companies, to build us website, and they cover everything. Yes, you heavily involved to communication with them, which should be design, what we should say, what we sell, etc., etc. But they cover 100% of things in this website, to building this website. After that, it was application, app, yeah, in iPhone and Android. So in e-commerce in China, it's 100% the same. 99% of foreign merchants, they have TP. They don't have their own team. Even super big brands like a Nike or Procter & Gamble, even then they have a TP who running the store for some specific brands or for general stores. So TP cover all your needs in China. First. Second, TP make a profit when you make a profit. And the balance in the business model of TP, they have some monthly fee and they have a commission based on your revenue. But this is a balance. Why it's a balance? Why you may ask, why they just give them a big commission but no fee? And the answer is because we are foreigners. We are unpredictable from their perspective. It's hard to be very trustful from the first day. So that's why it's a balance. You pay a little bit monthly fee. From most cheap TP, they start from 25,000. Upper middle class TP, they charge 100,000 RMB. But mid-size is around 30 to 60,000. Most of the TP work on this range. And TP, it's not your online or offline distributor. It's a second thing what many merchants think. Okay, TP is my distributor. I just ship them product, he sell, I don't care. No, it's not gonna work like this. TP is your partner who outsource all resource, all e-commerce efforts. And the brilliant idea of TP, this concept made by the way, with Jack Ma and his classmate. And the brilliant concept of TP, you don't gonna go to China, sit in UK, in Spain, or in some other ways. Just do your business. They will do their own business. And now, especially in COVID case, we can't travel too much. But China is already built this remote infrastructure work many years ago. We just need to harvest it and use it. This concept of TP. Yes, and by the call, we will explain much more detailed about TP. I guess you have a lot of questions, as usually merchants do.
I want to add something.
Sure, of course, Angela.
Yeah, it's also like an example I always give to the brands I talk with. So the question that is always there is, how can I find the TP, right? So, or what is a good TP? How do I know if this TP is suitable? Can I trust them, right? So there's a lot of question marks around here. So Actually, the example I use is the TP is not your client or just a service of yours. It's going to be your partner. It's going to be part of your team. So this TP, how to find it is how you find your life partner, how you find your boyfriend or girlfriend. So it's the same. There's not a correct answer. So there's not either if this TP is better or that TP is worse. Is to find what is the TP, the team that is more suitable for your brand and for your vision. So if, let's say, you are a super big brand, maybe you would like to have a TP that also has a bigger structure, and you are somehow in the same level to be matched. If you are a very small brand and you want to find a super TP that is very big, then it's difficult to communicate, to understand each other. So somehow it's not to find the best TP, but to find the most suitable TP to your brand today and to your vision. Because here we have to take in consideration that you as brand, you will choose the TP, but the TP is also going to choose the brand they are going to work with. And today, more and more, one TP, they have so many brands going to them. So they really have this option to choose. And they also have their strategy. So let's say that this TP has more experience working with cosmetic and you are a food brand, then probably it's not going to be matched, even though their price is suitable or the vision is suitable. Also, the TP, you really have to see if they believe in the same vision as the company. I think that is crucial. If they don't believe in the product of the brand, even if you pay them a lot, then it's not going to work, right? So this is kind of like a marriage. And then also people ask me, so if I choose a TP, do I have to use this TP forever? I mean, obviously the ideal situation is to find the TP forever, but it's like the marriage. You have always the divorce option, right? So
that's why I don't like this example.
No, I mean, obviously the ideal of everyone is to find a partner that we want to be for the longest time possible, but
yes.
it's not it's unavoidable that maybe there might come some problems, can be from the TP side or even from the brand side. So maybe the brand changed the structure, strengthen the strategy, and doesn't go with the TP. So that is something that is possible. So just for you to know. Another thing I want to add is going back is we have to look at the TP as our own team. Don't feel like, okay, they are them and we are we. I pay them and they have to do that. No, this is a team. So if there's a problem, let's solve together. If there's benefits, let's win together, right? So this is something very important, how you treat the TP, the relationship. And then to finalize, how to find TPs is like finding boyfriend, girlfriend. You have to meet many, to communicate with many, and then see which one is the most suitable to you. So when looking for a TP, I always recommend to talk to at least 5 or 10 TPs, and then go filtering according to your requests, and then choose the one that you feel that is more suitable for you.
Yeah, Angela, thank you. About TP, I want to highlight, if our participants will apply the form, and when we will connect you with the Tmall Global team, Tmall Global team also can recommend some TP for new merchants in China. So you're gonna not be alone. And also China How Club, we also have this service, but we work not only on recommendation, we work on the selection process. Because in the market of TP now is a 6,000 TPs existed in the market. And we have in club 17 parameters to choose a TP. And I want to totally agree with Angela. When you choose TP, it's not be like they're super high, you're small, or you are super big and they are super small. So it should be very good balance. And there are a lot of another tricks how to choose TP. But I'm sure if you will apply the form, you will definitely not be alone on this case. And okay, so we almost done for today webinar, and we always try to be very fixed and on time. And I want to say super big thank you to Angela to help us preparing this webinar.
No,
And
thank
all
you guys for inviting me.
And all Tmall Global team, they help us a lot. And I always surprised how Alibaba team is quick. We are startup China how, but Alibaba team is a super big company, but they always super fast on reaction. I remember Angela sent us video just in Sunday, within a couple of hours after we asked it about it. So this is Alibaba speed, and all merchants should follow this speed of Alibaba. And Alibaba team and China How Club team, we're here to help all merchants who want to build a success story and be our next attendee, next showcases of China How Club webinars. Okay, thank you very much for all, and please apply the form. It will be here. Xiaomin, please tell us some warm words.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you very, very much, Angela. And today, actually, as I mentioned at the very beginning, today is the first webinar, and we will have totally 6 webinars. So there will be 5 webinars coming, and on the 9th of June, we will, which means the second next Tuesday, we will run a webinar. Also, me and Angela, we will run a webinar about supplement category. It is also another big category about in the Chinese e-commerce market. And yeah, so please join us. And for our regular members, next Tuesday, yeah, we will continue. Of course, we'll continue our club webinar. Okay, so every Tuesday, 5 p.m. China time. Yeah, and see you. Thank you so much, Angela.
No, so thank you, the whole team of China How for the organization, very professional. Also want to thank everyone that has joined, that has used their 1 hour time. Hopefully it was very helpful for you guys, and really hope to get the contact of a few of you in the next weeks, probably. And for anything, I mean, you have already, I mean, the contact of China How, you can also apply in our merchant channel. So yeah, hope to talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao, guys.
Thank you very much. And I think we finish. So now it will be done.